Hello dear viewers, my name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the English Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, I will deliberate on the most important topic, that is subject-verb agreement. Here in this video lecture, you will come to know what is subject, and then you will come to know about verb, what's verb, and after that we will take the different roles of subject-verb agreement. Let's start. The first point is, what is subject-verb agreement? Subject-verb agreement or concord is an agreement between subject and verb. It's a kind of alignment. Here we see which subject will agree with which verb. To make it more explicit, subject-verb agreement means subject and the verb used for it should agree in person. That is first person, second person or third person. And the number, that means singular or plural. Here in this topic, we see which verb will agree with which subject according to the person, number or gender of the subject. Now, before we move further, let me explain what is subject. In order to understand subject-verb agreement, we need to understand what is subject at first. Subject means doer of an action, or you can say a performer of an action. Or subject means a person or a thing about which or about whom we talk. For example, look at the first example. We have John kicks the ball. Here, John is a subject. Why? Because it is the John who performs an act. It's the John who is the doer of an action. Therefore, what's the action? Action is kicks. Here we can say that John is a subject, because in this sentence it is the John who is the doer of an action or the performer of an action. Now look at the second sentence. The baby seems happy. In this sentence, this baby is subject. Although it's not the performer of an action, it's not a doer of an action, because here verb is seems. Here the verb seems, it simply shows the state. It doesn't show action. Still, we could say that the baby is the subject. Why? Because here in this sentence, I'm talking about a person, that's baby. That's why I told you that subject means number one, doer of an action. Number second, a person or a thing about which or about whom we talk. And here in this second sentence, we're talking about the baby. Therefore, the baby is subject. Now look at the third sentence. This is my car. Here in this sentence, my car is a real subject. Because here in this sentence, I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about my car. Therefore, my car is subject. As I told you, subject means a person or a thing about which or about whom we talk. And here in this sentence, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about my car. Therefore, my car is the subject. Now the question arises, what's this word this? We call it dummy subject. Dummy means not real. Dummy means unreal. Why we call it dummy subject? Because here I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about where this. Then why we call it subject at the first place? Because it has taken the place of subject. In English grammar or in English language, the common syntax of a sentence or the structure of a sentence is subject followed by verb. Verb is followed by an object. Here, verb, actually the subject, it precedes verb. But here in this sentence, is verb, but it is preceded by this. This is subject in a sense that it has taken the position or the place of a real subject. That's why we call it subject at the first place. But it's not the real subject here. My concern is not this. My intention or my purpose or my subject is not this here. My subject is my car. Therefore, my car is the real subject and this is merely a dummy subject. Not, that means unreal, not real subject. Now look at the third example. The clock strikes. Here we have the verb strikes, verb in first form. And the clock, it's subject. Subject as a thing. Here in this sentence, I'm talking about a thing called clock. Therefore, before moving to the next slide, here I would like to recapitulate. Subject means number one, doer of an action or the performer of an action. Number second, a person or a thing about which or about whom we talk, like in second sentence and the fourth sentence. In the fourth sentence, I'm talking about the clock. Therefore, the clock is a subject. Now, verb. As subject to verb agreement, it's all about the subject and verb. Therefore, we need to understand what's verb. This English word verb, it's derived from a Latin word verbum, which means a word. But when we say a word, it means the most important word in a sentence. What's the definition of a verb? Verb is a word, or you can say, verb is a word that tells or asserts something about a person or thing. Remember, verb is a word that tells or asserts something, or for that matter anything, about a person or thing. For example, John kicks the ball. Here the kicks word is verb. Why? Because here the word kicks tells me what John does. That's why I say that verb is a word that tells or asserts something or anything about a person or a thing. Here, kicks tells me about the person John, what John does. He kicks the ball. Or you can say, the clock strikes. Here the word subtracts is a verb. Why? Because it is the verb that tells me what clock does. Here the clock subtracts. That's why we say verb is a word that tells or asserts something about a person or a thing. To make it more explicit, verb is a word that tells us what a person or thing does. Remember, number one, verb is a word that tells us what a person or thing does. Like here, John kicks the ball. Here it's the word kicks that tells me what John does. He just kicks the ball. Therefore, kicks is a verb. Or in other words, we can say an action word is a verb. But this is not the holistic definition. Now look at the second. What is done to a person? Verb is a word. Number one, what a person or thing does. Number second, what a person or what's done to a person or thing. If I write like this, the ball is kicked by John. Here it's the word is kicked. That is verb. Not only is or kicked. It's is kicked. That's verb. Because as I told you, number one, verb is a word that tells us what a person or thing does. As in first sentence, John kicks the ball. And the second, what is done to a person or thing. Here the ball is kicked by John. Therefore, is kicked is a verb because it tells me what is done to a person or thing. Number third, verb is a word that tells me what a person or thing is. That means a word that tells me about the state or being or existence of anything. We call that word as verb, like here. See the third point? Verb is a word that tells me or that tells us what a person or thing is, like here. David is a teacher. Here the word is, it's a verb. Why? Because it's the word is that tells me about the being of David, about the existence of David. If David exists in this world, he exists as a teacher. Or, for example, the cat is dead. Here the word is it's a verb. Word is, it's a verb. Why? Because it's the word is that tells me about the state of cat. Cat, it's in which state it is dead. That's why we say verb is a word that shows these four things, mainly these four things. The first one is an action. As in first sentence, John kicks the ball. Kicks word is an action word. Second, state. For example, the baby seems happy. Here the word seems is it's a verb in first form. It doesn't show any action. It shows the state. It shows the state of the baby. Baby is in which state? In a very happy state. And the word happy is a complement. Number 4, being. As I told you, David is a teacher. Is word is a verb. Why? Because it is the is word that shows me the existence or the being of David. David exists in this world as a teacher. And the next one is position. Verb is a word that tells me about the position. For example, I have a car. In this sentence, we have the word have that shows me the possession. That means I possess a car. Therefore, the word have is a verb. Now, the next thing. Now it's clear. Subject means the doer of an action or the person or a thing about which or about whom we talk. And the second point is verb. Verb is a word that tells or asserts something or anything about a person or thing. Now, we will take different rules of subject-verb agreement. The common rule of subject-verb agreement is to use plural verb with plural subject and singular verb with singular subject. Remember, we use plural verb with plural subject and singular verb with singular subject. This is the common rule. Yes, of course, there are certain exceptions. We will take these exceptions later on. For example, look at the first example. David writes a letter. Here the word David, it's a subject, but it's third person singular. Subject as third person singular. And with singular subject, we use singular verbs. Therefore, David writes. Writes, it's a singular verb. With singular verbs, we always use S or ES or IES. Like here. Writes, here, I use S. Or for example, tries, in word tries, we use ES or IES. Therefore, the singular verb means a verb that has S or ES or IES addend. It's the very opposite of nouns. In nouns, for example, a word without S, we call it singular, like boy, it's a singular. But if we add S, it's plural, okay? But here in verbs, it's vice versa. It's topsy-turvy. That means if we add S or ES or IES to the verb, it will become a singular verb, like here. Now, look at the first example. David, it's the subject. And with singular subject, we use singular verb. Therefore, writes, it's a singular verb. And what is the second point? With the plural verbs, we use plural subjects. Like here, they. They is again third person, but it is third person plural. Therefore, with the plural subjects, we use plural verb, that is play. What's this plural verb? Plural verb is a verb that is without S or IS or ES, like here, play. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that with singular verbs, we use singular subjects, and with plural verbs, we use plural subjects, like here. For example, he writes a letter. Here we have subject as third person singular. And with singular subject, we use singular verb, that is writes. Or for that matter, like he tries to sing. With singular subject, we use singular verb. And how can you identify singular verb? When there is s or is or es attached to the main verb, we call it singular verb. And the next one is, if I write like this, and with plural verbs, we write plural subjects like they try to sing a song. This is third person plural, and with plural subject, we use plural verbs like here try. That means without s or es. Now here, that was the common rule. Now we will take these rules one by one. What's the first rule? When two singular nouns are joined by and, that's coordinating conjunction, and refers to the same person or thing, we use singular verb. What's the rule number first? Remember, when two singular nouns are joined by coordinating conjunction and these two singular nouns refers to the same person or same thing, with it we use singular verb. But one thing you need to remember, here we use definite article, that means the with the first subject, like here, the principal and the professor is on leave today. Now look at the sentence. We have the first noun, that's principal, and the second noun, that's professor. And here we can use a definite article, but with the first subject, that means the first noun, that is principal. It means here I'm talking about the same person. It's a one person who is both principal and professor. And if we have subject like this, we use singular verbs like is. Remember, when two nouns or when two singular nouns are connected by a coordinating conjunctions like and these two singular nouns refer to a same person or same thing, there we use singular verb. Like here, the principal and professor. These are not two persons. It's a one person who is both a professor and a principal. And with this we use singular subject like here is. But one thing you need to remember, if we put article the before each noun, then it will not remain a single person. It will become two persons. That's why. But if we put article the before each noun, then the two nouns refer to two different persons. Here we use plural verbs, like here. The principal and the professor are on leave today. Now here we have two nouns. One is the principal and the second one is the professor. And each noun is preceded by definite article the. Therefore, here we have plural subject. Here I am talking about two persons. One is the principal and the second one is the professor. With the introduction of this the, definite article the, it becomes two persons, not a single person. And when the subject is plural, we use plural verbs like here are. Now the second one is when two singular nouns are joined by and, that's coordinating conjunction, and refer to two different things or persons, the verb will be in the plural form. It is the same thing, but here I would like to make it more explicit. When two singular nouns, here we have two singular nouns. One is CEO and the second one is manager. Both are singular nouns. And these two singular nouns, they are connected by coordinating conjunction, that is and. Therefore, here our subject is, it's not a singular. In fact, it's plural. Here I am talking about two persons. One is CEO and the second one is the manager. And when the subject is plural, surely we use plural verbs like have, been arrested. Have. That means not as for. Or look at the first example. We have my cousin. This is subject. And here cousin, it's a noun, singular noun. And then we have a teacher. Again, this is a noun, singular noun. And look at these two singular nouns. These two singular nouns, they are preceded by a pronoun, possessive pronoun like my cousin, my teacher. Therefore, here I'm not talking about a single person. Here I'm talking about two persons. One is my cousin and the second one is my teacher. In this way, our subject is plural, and with plural subject, we use plural verb. That is why we use play. That means a verb without s, es or ies. Remember, when two singular nouns are connected by a coordinating conjunction and each singular noun is preceded by a definite article like the, or by some pronoun like my, okay? There our subject becomes plural, and with plural subject we use plural verb like here, my cousin and my teacher. These are two persons, not one person. If I remove my here, if I remove my from the second noun, it will become one subject, it will become one person. Now, the next one is third. If two different singular nouns together express one idea, we use singular verb. Remember, if two different singular nouns or singular subjects together express one idea, we use singular verb. Like here, we have two nouns. The first one is a rice and the second one is curry. Both are singular nouns. And these singular nouns, they are connected by a coordinating conjunction, that's and. Here, rice and curry, these are not two, of course these are two different entities, two different things. But here in this sentence, rice and curry becomes one dish, a single entity. And with single entity or with singular subject, we use singular verb. That's why rice and curry is, or bread and milk. Of course, when we take these two items separately, bread and milk, they are two different entities. But when we connect it to these two nouns, bread and milk, with the help of a coordinating conjunction and, it becomes one entity, it becomes a singular entity, it becomes a one subject, it becomes a one dish. And with one or the single subject or the singular subject, we use singular verb. Therefore, bread and milk is S form, again singular verb. Here in these two sentences, rice and curry, bread and milk, in both these subjects, they are talking about a single or one dish. And with one subject, we use singular verb. Now the next one, the fourth one. When two singular nouns are synonyms and connected by and, we use singular verb. Remember, when two nouns which are used as synonyms and these two nouns are connected by coordinating conjunction and, with this subject we use singular verb. Now look at here, we have the noun siller and then we have the next one steady. Both are connected by and, that is coordinating conjunction, and both siller and the synonym of siller is steady and the synonym of steady is siller. Therefore, both these two entities, they are talking about the same things. We alternately use one for another. And with this subject, we use singular verb. That's why wins. Or the next one. Here's power. Here the power, it's a noun, singular noun. And then we have influence, it's again a singular noun. And both these two nouns, they are connected by a coordinating conjunction and with this, of course, this power, it's a synonym of influence, or influence is synonym of power. And here, his power and influence, with this subject, we use a singular verb. Remember, when two singular nouns are synonyms, or that means they are used for each other and are connected by a coordinating conjunction like and. With this, we use singular verb. Okay, our next rule is rule number 5. When a period of time, distances, or amount of money are considered as one unit, we use singular verb. Remember, with time, with distances, with amount of money, when they are considered as single unit, we use singular verb. Like here, 100 rupees. It's amount. And with this amount, we use singular verb like here is. Or for that matter, look at the second one, 22 kilometers. It's about distance. But here this distance, it's taken as a singular unit. And with this singular unit, we use singular verb. That's why is, S form. We don't use are. We don't say 22 kilometers are. We say 22 kilometers is too difficult for running. Remember, when there is time or distances or amounts that gives the idea of a single unit, with that single unit, we use singular subject, singular verb. Then the next one. When, sixth one, when more than one noun is joined by conjunction or, the subject is considered to be singular. And you know, with singular subject, we use singular verb. Remember, when two singular nouns are connected by a coordinating conjunction like or, we take these two singular nouns as a singular subject. And with this singular subject, we use singular verb. like here. Your mom, this is subject, and the second one is dad. Again, this is subject. These are two different nouns, and these two different nouns, they are connected by a coordinating conjunction or. And with this structure, we use singular verbs like has. We don't say have. We don't say your mom or dad have. We say your mom or dad has. This is singular verb. Now the seventh one is nouns joined by either or and neither nor. The verb should agree with noun or a pronoun that comes just before it. This is very important one. Remember, when two nouns are connected by either or and neither nor, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. Remember, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. When two nouns, they are connected by either or neither nor. Here the verb agrees with the nearest subject, like here. Neither Ricky nor Lucky is here yet. Now our verb, that is, it will agree with the nearest subject, and the nearest subject is Lucky. Now look at the second example. Either the teacher or the students have to take an initiative to keep the classroom clean. Here we have the verb have, and this have, it will agree with the nearest subject, and the nearest subject is students. That means a plural subject, and with plural subject we use plural verb like have. Remember, when two nouns are connected by either or neither nor, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. If the nearest subject is singular, then verb must be singular. If the nearest subject is plural, then verb must be plural. And here, one thing you need to remember, that is, if you are writing such sentences, always put plural subject at the end, like here. Either the teacher is singular, and the student is plural. Always, when you are writing such sentences, place plural subject at the end, or nearest to the verb. Like here, student, it's a plural subject. That's why I put it near verb. Okay, the next one, the eighth one is sentences with pronouns such as anybody, anyone, no one, somebody, someone, everybody, everyone, nothing, nobody are treated as singular subjects. And you know, with singular subjects we use singular verb, like here. Nobody has. We don't say nobody have. Nobody has. Everyone was. We don't say everyone were. With singular, because these expressions or these pronouns, they are taken as singular, and with the singular subjects we use singular verbs. Like next one, nothing fits me well. We don't say nothing fit me well. Nothing fits. Fits is a singular verb. Ninth one is two singular nouns preceded by each or every and joined by and receive a singular verb. Remember, when two nouns are preceded by each or every, and these two nouns are connected by a coordinating conjunction and, here with this subject we use singular verb, like here. Boy, this is noun. Girl, again this is noun. These are two singular nouns, and these two singular nouns, they are preceded by every. Here, our subject is every boy and girl, and such subject will receive a singular verb like was. Now, the 10th one is when two subjects are connected by, together with, as well as, or accompanied by, the verb agrees with the first subject. This is very important to understand. When there are expressions or when two subjects are connected by words like together with, as well as, accompanied by. Here the verb agrees with the first subject. Now look at this example. The PM, this is first subject. Then we have the expression together with. Then we have the next subject, his cabinet ministers. Here the verb, it will agree with the first subject. What's our first subject? The PM, the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister, it's the singular subject, and the singular subject we use singular verb like here is. Now look at the second example. Mr. John, accompanied by wife and children, is arriving tonight by train. Here the first subject is Mr. John, and then we have the expression accompanied by, then we have wife, children, okay. But here, our verb, it will agree with the first subject. And what's our first subject? Our first subject is John, and Mr. John is a singular, and with singular subject we use singular verb. Now the 11th one. When two subjects are combined by not only and but also, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. When two subjects or two nouns or two subjects are connected by words like not only but also, here the verb agrees with the nearest subject. Look at the example. Not only he. Here we have one subject, he, but all his brothers. And the second subject is all his brothers. It's a plural verb, and with plural subject, and with plural subject we use plural verb like were. We don't say was. The next one. The car not only is economical but also feels good to drive. Here again we have the car, this is subject, then we have the conjunction like not only. Here our verb is, it will agree with the first subject, and the first subject is the car is singular subject, therefore our verb must be singular, like here is, the car is. Now the 12th rule is, when you have sentences that begin with here, there, this, that, those, etc. Always remember that the subject follows the verb, and therefore the verb has to be conjugated with a reference to the subject. Here I will try to make it more simple, more explicit. Now look, in English we have a common syntax or sentence structure, that is the subject, it's followed by verb, and verb is followed by an object. Now the subject, it precedes verb. But although it's a common sentence structure, but here look at this sentence now. We will take the first sentence. Here is your book. This is verb. Again, verb should be preceded by subject. Here the verb is preceded by here, word here. And the next one is your book. Now you have to decide which one is the verb. Here is verb or your book is verb. To me, your book is, here you have to decide which one is subject. Here is subject or your book is subject. Which one is the real subject? To me, your book is the real subject. Why? As I told you, subject means a person or a thing about which or about whom we talk. And here in this sentence, I'm talking about your book. I'm not talking about word this. Therefore, verb will agree with the real subject. This, your book, it's a real subject. And here, it's a dummy subject. As I told you in the first slide, it's a dummy subject. That means it's not a real subject. Then why we call it subject? We call it subject because it has this word, it has taken the position of subject. Otherwise, it's not a real subject. It's a dummy. Dummy means unreal subject. And in these sentences, verb always agree with the real subject. Now look at the first sentence. Your book, this is singular subject. That's why we have singular verb. Now, a great movie. Again, this is singular subject. That's why we have singular verb was. Now, again here, money chains. This is plural subject. And with plural subject, we use plural verb. That's why I have used have, not has. Okay, the next one is the 13th one. Abstract nouns and uncountable nouns are considered as singular subjects. So make sure you use a singular verb along with them. That means abstract nouns like happiness. Abstract means something which is not concrete, something which we cannot see by our naked eye, or something which we can't touch, or something which we can only feel. That's why happiness, love, anger, these are all abstract nouns. And with abstract nouns and uncountable nouns, we use singular subject, like in the first sentence. Honesty is the best policy. Here, honesty is the abstract subject or abstract noun. With abstract noun or abstract subject, we use singular verb. That's why is. The second one is love makes people do crazy things. If you look at the subject, again, this is abstract noun love. And with abstract noun, we always take abstract nouns or uncountable nouns as singular subjects. And as you know, with singular subjects, we use singular verbs. That's why love makes, not love make. The next one, good friendship. Again, this is abstract one. With abstract subject, we use singular verbs. That's why keeps, not keep. Remember, abstract nouns and uncountable nouns are considered as singular subject. And with singular subject, we use singular verbs. The next one, 14th. In sentences that have adjectives, such as all, a lot of, lots of, or some, are used along with nouns to form a phrase that acts as the subject of the sentence. The verb is used according to the noun just before it. Remember, when you have the expressions like all, a lot of, lots of, or some in a sentence, verb always agrees with the nearest subject. Like here, all of my dresses. Here we have the word all. But verb will agree with the nearest subject, and the nearest subject is dresses. And the dresses is plural subject, and with plural subject we use plural verb like have, not has. Or the second sentence, a lot of. A lot of food is left out. Here again we have the expression a lot of, but verb will agree with the nearest subject, and the nearest subject is food. That's why, and food, it's a singular, and with singular subject we use singular verb, that is. Next one. Some of the books are torn and damaged. Now look at this sentence. We have some of, expression some of. We don't use verb, or we don't agree verb with the first, that is some of. Here, if you have expressions like all, a lot of, lots of, or some in a sentence, remember, verb agrees with the nearest subject. Here in this sentence, we have nearest subject books, and therefore, that's why books is a plural subject, and with plural subject, we use plural verb. Now, next one, the 15th one. When you are using a sentence to express a wish, or a sentence expressing a request, verbs are used a little differently from other sentences. Now look at, for example, take a simple past tense. Simple past tense, we have subject plus was, were, plus verb in first form, plus ing, plus other words. If you look at this sentence, we have first subject, then we have helping verbs, was, were, and then we have the main verb in ing form, that's verb in ing form. Here, if I write I, this is subject, singular subject. And with singular subject, I have to use singular verb. And what is singular verb? Was. That means S form. I was writing, verb in ing form, a letter. Here, where I have singular subject I, and with singular subject, I have to use a singular verb, and what singular verb? Was. But at times, we use, with this singular subject, we use were. If it's a conditional clause, or if it is a wish. For example, if I were a bird, I would fly. Now look at this sentence. This is a conditional clause. This is second conditional clause, or we call it imaginary condition or improbable condition. And in this condition, we express a wish. And when there is a wish in a sentence, there we can use were with first person singular, like I were. Otherwise, we use I was. We don't use, with singular subject, we don't use plural verb. But if it is a conditional clause, like here, second conditional clause, or if it is a wish, there you can use, you can use plural verbs with singular subject, like here. I were. I, this is singular subject, but here we have plural verb. Look at the first sentence. I wish I were a bird. Now here, with I, this is singular subject, but here we have the plural verb. If you were, you, this is singular subject, and with singular subject, here I have used a plural verb. Remember, if a sentence is a wish, or if it is a conditional clause, there we can use plural verbs with the singular subjects, like I, if I were a bird, or if I were a millionaire. Okay, like these expressions we can use. These are the different references for further reading. If you want to know more about this topic, you can consult these books. We have a few rules left. We will take these rules in the next video lecture. Uh, till then, goodbye.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.